What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How you doing? I hope you guys can hear me. Oh my good lord. What's going on, Kadia? You excited, ain't you? Man, I have a feeling this is gonna be like another 2-3-parter. God. Y'all, Fat Joe is being sued. And someone took the time to draft 157 pages of a lawsuit. Dear Lord, but his defamation lawsuit against Terrance Dixon was ordered to be amended because judges don't like reading garbage. I thought I'd make that clear, but whatever. Um, what's going on? How y'all doing? You said 100 plus pages, so it has to be. Yep, yes, it's 157 pages, and unfortunately, me working during the day, it kind of dampers what I'm able to do. Little things I want to do, like be able to create some sort of summary for it, or at least summarize the actual background information. That's what I would like to be able to do. But um I just didn't have time to do it. Didn't have time. Didn't have time. So hopefully everybody is good. I hope y'all good. How's everybody day? I went live earlier. It was a quick live. Um, it was actually twice because the first time I didn't realize the video was unlisted. I was like, oh God, let me do it again. So hopefully you guys have had a good day today. I'm going to put on some music. I'm trying, y'all won't believe this. I'm trying to actually pull up the document. Okay, here we go. Because he got a whole folder. I had to create a Fat Joe folder, if you can believe it. This is insanity. But I'm gonna pull up the case summary. Let's see. I want to do the article about. Oh, here's the order. And it was a lawsuit that was filed against Fat Joe back in 2023 from a complainant, last name Smith. I might go over that at the end of this, but this comes first. So let's get started, man. This is going to be something else. Y'all, this is something else. Oh, man. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to go over the actual case summary of the docket summary. The docket summary, and then show you all the order from the judge based on Fat Joe's defamation lawsuit, and go over an article. He did file back on April 29, 2025, he filed a lawsuit against his former hype man and lawyer for extortion scheme, because reasons. So, I'm not saying no one has the, legal right to file a lawsuit in any court in the United States of America, y'all. But I mean, at least, don't make it good. That's all I'm gonna say. Make it good. Don't file a lawsuit and then have the judge wondering like, what the hell is the motive here? So make it good. Make it good. Let's see. Yes. Okay. What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Lynette, how you doing? Okay. Computer acting up. It's being weird. All right. Ooh, this is about to get good, y'all. I skimmed over it. Just a little bit. I did, and I'm telling y'all, this is something else. I honestly, what makes this worse than Tyler Perry's is that it just flats out involves more than two people. Like with some of the details, it's just like, oh my God. Okay. Oh man. So yes, this will be in parts, and then I have a comical video to show at the end because we all just need a good laugh. And this is yeah, this is gonna be something else. Let me get some music going. Thank you all so much for the support with the true crime series, and I understand that it is a very difficult watch with true crime in general, um, especially when it comes to children or the elderly. Even it's very difficult. So I appreciate you guys, for just allow me to kind of branch out and do something I wanted to do and I enjoy. Reading lawsuits and court documents is not something new for me. I did that with the scammer with Novatech well before I started even reporting on anything with Dalton or Thornton. So reading court documents is nothing new for me, but it's just kind of points to just the ability to be versatile. And now I don't know if you all know this, but UMG, the music Universal Music Group, Universal whatever, that has Kendrick Lamar and Drake signed to their label, is thinking about trying to buy out all of the music on, I guess, on YouTube. So you have a lot of music reactors and content creators who are like independent artists and everything themselves that primarily use, YouTube to help promote their music at risk. If they buy all this music, that means no one will be able to do music reactions. You won't even be able to play music that UMG owns because, they're selfish pricks with no life. So it's crazy. Uh, let's see. Yeah, I think I'm in the mood for that. So this is where we are now. This is where we are now. So when people ask, am I going to be doing more music reactions? Unfortunately, the answer is no, because it's already stringent with YouTube. I mean, I had to dispute one of my videos a few weeks back using their music from their music library. And then I even included the language they want you to include from the YouTube music library in the description of my video. And they still flagged it. And it was just so stupid. It's like, you mean to tell me your automated system can't pick up the information in the description from your YouTube's own library? So they've made it incredibly hard. I don't even see how people are able to still do some level of music reaction, because my videos were restricted so much to the point where I didn't even have the ability to do memberships for a while. I had to go and edit hundreds of videos that I've done just to get to the point where I was eligible to have memberships open up. So it's a lot going on, you guys. And unfortunately, this channel was built on my music reactions primarily. When I started reporting on Novatech, that was still in conjunction with music reactions, but it's just going to be virtually impossible. You have a lot of content creators that are panicking, and not knowing what's going to happen with their channels. And shout out to one of the content creators that on my second channel that I'm subscribed to, Cliff Beats. That's the name of the YouTuber. His name is Cliff Beats. He does a lot of beats and produces music and stuff like that. But I was able to catch his video yesterday about it. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so many people just panicking, saying we're done with music reactions. The music producers, the music companies have no idea what they're doing to their own artists, because a lot of artists are discovered on social media platforms. A lot of artists who are independent, advertise and push their music through utilizing platforms like YouTube. So you're trying to buy all this music so that no one can put music on YouTube without having to go through you and get your permission. And they expect us to sit here and not call them the assholes that they acting like. YouTube sucks. If they let that happen, then everybody needs to sue their ass and hopefully win, because it's insanity. All right. That's enough for my rent with that. So that kind of just, more of a reason why I just can't do music reactions anymore, because I'm not in the mood to have my whole channel shut down over it. Being original with the content now has given me a higher level of freedom. And, I don't have to worry about stuff like that anymore, because I don't typically use a lot of music like that anyway. But thank you, Kandia, for becoming a member. Woohoo! Y'all, we have fun in the membership, in the members live. Thank you so much. Shout out to you. I appreciate your support. Oh man. Yep, it's gonna be multiple parts, Kandia. So we're gonna just kind of run it like the bedtime story, like we did with Tyler Perry lawsuit. Lynette, what's going on? Y'all hit the dang on like button and subscribe and turn on all your notifications. Grab a membership, because I do believe that some of these videos that I'm doing, especially with lawsuits that are not readily available online, I'm going to put up into the members only, because they're more rare to come across, especially like federal cases, not always available online. So when I get those types of documents like that, yeah, I think that should be a special treat for the members. I'll live stream it. And it's like, you want to watch it again or replay, go get a membership. The end. Because it's not easy to come across these documents. But I do appreciate you all tuning in, though. Let's see. Lynette in here. Okay. Hey, Saint, how you doing? I'm just trying to make sure I speak to everybody. You guys, make sure you hit the like button coming in. Laura, how you doing? Laura is the ace in StreamYard, so y'all need anything, and of course from any other fantastic mod in here, just don't be afraid to ask. If I don't see it, they will certainly email me and give me a heads up. So I appreciate all of my mods. I have some of the best mods on YouTube. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I love you guys. Let's see. My face is blocking the screen. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm just going through comments. I'm gonna take it down when I get ready to start on it. I'm just trying to make sure I recognize all of you guys, and thank you all so much. Hey, Skeeter and Mark, how y'all doing? Y'all good? Hope everything's okay. Still praying for your son, for a speedy recovery. And Karen, there's people out here hurting as well. So I don't ever want you all to feel like, Lady Luck Club is not thinking about you. I'm definitely keeping you all in my prayers, and I am concerned about what's going on with my members. I really am, and the supporters. I appreciate all of you all. So we are keeping you in our prayers for sure. And we're going to end this video tonight with a very funny video that Night and Day Cartoon Network, who's also subscribers here to the LLC, did about Fat Joe. Because, it's funny. It's very funny. I'm great. My fam. Awesome. Saint said, LLC, have you thought about going to Patreon? I have. I just don't know what time it would take to try to maintain that. I'm assuming it's the paid for type platform where you have to, I guess, buy a membership or whatever to do that. But unless I can connect it to YouTube, where I can just do quick uploads there, and it's kind of knocking out two birds with one stone. It's just another platform to have to manage right now, and it kind of sucks because I got to get my work balance just in order. Having kids, y'all, is something else. Kind of the reason why I'm still off camera, because my son's here. We're good. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you so much, Kandia, for putting the link. Night and Day Cartoon Network, you guys. I'm just honored to have them subscribed here and supporting the LLC, and we definitely support them as well. All right, y'all. Y'all ready? Enough of the intro. Are y'all ready? So, like I said, we're going to start off with the docket summary. So if you guys can see, put a 1 in the chat. I want to make sure this is big, bold, and clear. So I have ECF. That's part of Pacer system where, like most of the federal court documents are, whether it be like a district court, U.S. Court of Appeals, even some circuit courts, where they, it's a small fee. I think this was like $15 or something like that. But you can go and you can open up an account and get documents from there. So that's where I got this from. I printed out the docket so you guys can see the overview. This is in the U.S. District Court, the Southern District of New York, Foley Square, civil docket for case number 125 CV, C as in cat, V as in Victor, 05144-JLR. And this is Dixon versus Cartagena. Am I saying it? I never knew his actual real name. Y'all let me know if I'm mispronouncing his name. Is it Cartagena? Cartagena? I don't want to butcher it. Just not keep saying it. So there is a jury demand. The nature of the suit is a racketeering. This is like a code. Racketeer corrupt organization. Of course, this is under the jurisdiction of the federal court. Plaintiff Terrance Dixon, also known as TA, represented by Tyrone Anthony Blackburn, and then versus defendant. And there's several defendants listed here, you guys. So this is just the case docket overview. Of course, Fat Joe, Peter Torres, Pistol Pete, I don't know who that is. Richard Joseph Free, whatever. They got him. This nickname is Rich Player. Erica Juliana Morera, Sneaker Addict Touring LLC, Slate Inc., Rock Nation Inc. Wow, Rock Nation LLC. Is that still part of Jay-Z? Then he own Rock Nation? I could be wrong. Yeah, I promise you, I don't keep up with them like that. Does Jay-Z still own Rock Nation? Y'all let me know, because I hadn't even read on that part as far as Rock Nation. I don't keep up with all these rap artists. But Rock Nation is named as a co-defendant. Then there's John Doe's 1 through 10, defendant Jane Doe's 1 through 10. When I read Tyler Perry's also, I said Joe's. No, Does. it was Doe's. Sorry about that. I misspeak too sometimes, but I try my best to correct it. But John Doe's 1 through 10, Jane Doe's 1 through 10, and ABC Corporation's 1 through 10. So this is just kind of what's been filed to the docket so far. Civil procedures and complaints have a civil cover sheet. That's kind of standard. And it starts out with the oldest and goes down to the most recent. So, of course, there was a filing error. Summons not linked to corresponding pleading. Request for issuance of summons. There is an exhibit. I didn't print that out, but it might be in the actual complaint. Then you have the complaint itself. And that was a $405 filing fee. Good Lord. Yeah, for 157 pages, I'm shocked there's not more. Then there's a notice to attorney regarding party modification. Don't know. It seems like some co-defendants were added or they corrected something. Yeah, I'm not going to read all that, but I'm just kind of going through the event so far. There's case opening initial assignment notice. So it was assigned to Judge Jennifer L. Rashan. Hope I'm saying that right. And then Magistrate Judge Sarah Netburn is designated to handle matters that may be referred in this case. And then, of course, another notice to attorney regarding deficient requests for issuance of summons. Was they not served? Or had to be refiled? Something went wrong with the filing. And then they have an initial pretrial conference set for August 1st, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. in courtroom 20B as in boy. And you see the address there, 500 Pearl Street, Yeah, I've been to New York a few times, but I can't tell you what that is. And of course, we all look forward to that hearing. It's a pre-trial conference. So here's an article on Fat Joe's lawsuit he filed against the hype man Dixon and his attorney. And this was on April 29th. And then it kind of goes through the lawsuit itself against the former hype man Terrance Dixon and the attorney Tyrone Blackburn for defamation and international infliction of emotional distress. In the complaint, Cartagena outlines how Dixon and Blackburn conspired to extort him for money. Started back on March 23rd of this year. Both parties sent a written demand to Cartagena seeking financial compensation for being a ghostwriter and uncredited vocalist on some of Fat Joe's songs. When the false demand was ignored, they resorted to lower depths for their financial demands in an April 21-25 letter and threatened to file a complaint, not just for unpaid wages and other compensation, but also and with utter disregard for truth or decency, false and outrageous allegations against Fat Joe that have absolutely nothing to do with Dixon's purported unpaid wages, including unspeakable acts such as statutory rape, forced labor, sex trafficking, and fraud. Jesus Christ of Nazareth. So the question that would come up would be, is he entitled to the money? And why would he not have the lawsuit focus on unpaid wages? That would get a lot more traction than these types of allegations if you don't have sufficient evidence. You're insinuating racketeering. So that's pretty serious. RICO charges are very, very serious and also very time consuming to investigate. So it's not a charge you want to just kind of throw out there frivolously. You want to have evidence to sufficiently prove any allegation of RICO. Even if it's racketeering, I mean, it's something you need to really prove, because that could be a criminal charge. From this lawsuit, that they could easily have a criminal charge forwarded to, criminal court, and have an AG or a prosecutor, bring forth these charges. So they're very serious. If Fat Joe did not pay the hype man for music and songs or whatever else, and he knows he hired him for that, pay the damn money. You're going to spend a lot more trying to go to court. So, of course, Fat Joe stated allegations are completely false and a part of a criminal conspiracy orchestrated between a disgruntled former hype man and his attorney. These two individuals have been scheming together to extort me with their elaborate and ludicrous demands, changing by the day. Relentless threats, harassment, defamation I've endured as they peddle salacious lies are utterly deplorable. Well, the best way to beat a lie in court is with truth. So if the petitioner has the burden, they're bringing forth the petition itself to, in civil procedure, meet their burden of preponderance. In a criminal matter, the prosecutor or the state has to meet their burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt. So if there's no evidence on it, then you can say here's a defamation lawsuit here. But the only way to dispel that is, okay, well, they didn't meet their burden because there was no evidence. So I just, I don't get this filing for defamation. Like they were trying to get ahead of the game. Let's see. I'm taking legal action to expose their misconduct, and I'm fully confident that the facts will reveal that this is nothing more than a deceptive and desperate scam. The allegations against Mr. Fat Joe are completely false, and they kind of just reiterate that again. They're part of a criminal extortion scheme, who a federal judge recently condemned for abusing the court system to harass and pressure defendants. So the attorney has already been verbally reprimanded for this. Y'all. See, this goes back to when I said that the courts, they don't like having to, issue sanctions against attorneys. They certainly don't want to just make that a habit either. Because you got to remember, judges are nothing more than attorneys that had the privilege to serve on the bench. Right? So, you're talking about basically, a fellow colleague when it comes to an attorney, because they both went to law school, they both have their JD, and they're both, practicing law. So judges don't like to make a habit of doing that unless they don't give a damn and they, bias and corrupt either way. But most times, judges don't like having to do that. So if he got verbally reprimanded and condemned, that means he done pissed his judge off. Good grief. Haven't even gotten to the weed of things. He's already caught some verbal reprimand here. Lord have mercy. So the attorney, Blackburn, was condemned for abusing the court system to harass and pressure defendants. Ms. Fat Joe will not be intimidated by fabricated claims, lies about witnesses, or shameless threats. We're taking immediate legal action to expose this fraudulent scheme, and we will hold all parties fully accountable. The lawsuit goes on to note Judge Cote of the Southern District of NY previously criticized Blackburn's legal tactics, writing that he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrass defendants with salacious allegations, and pressure defendants to settle quickly. Who does that remind you all of again? When these attorneys ever gonna learn? What does that remind you of? This is something else. Yo, that sounds like Bo Brinley slimy ass and Solomon. Max Solomon. Lord. Oh my good Lord have mercy. And Solomon caught it at least twice, trying to represent SS on some nonsense, and then the judge tosses the stuff out either way. But it gets to a point where, judges got to call it out. You sitting here improperly filing these cases, and then it gives the impression that you're filing these lawsuits in bad faith. You're not filing these, complaints in good faith. And there is a difference between being overly zealous for your client versus you just flat out lying for your client. Big ass difference. So I'm gonna get some more comments in. There's a great distraction from all the national mayhem. Yeah. Yeah, Bo Brisket, really. Shout out to Cooking with Frank. Yep. Slimy ass, he's still trying to get R. Kelly out. No. Leave his ass in there. Or just send him to another facility, but whatever. So they have an actual district judge, a federal judge, say something like this, where you're improperly filing cases and stuff. Yeah. That means he does this all the time. Why hire him? Was there no one else, Terrance Dixon, that you could have hired to represent you? Was there no one else? I think that would be part of your research to ensure that the attorney you hire has never been verbally reprimanded or admonished by a federal judge. Don't go hire that type of attorney. It's stupid. It's so stupid. So yeah, they're filing these lawsuits in bad faith. What I tell y'all, these judges don't like all that nonsense. Don't turn the courtroom into a spectacle. It's an insult to them in their chambers, in their courtroom, and their good name. So no, they don't like that. This is bold right here. I'm glad some of these judges are recognizing the BS when they see it. Most recently, the complaint also explains Judge Oatkin, Paul, recently issued a warning to Blackburn and asserted that his legal filings are replete with inaccurate statements of law and full of similar irrelevant insults, misstatements, and exaggerations. That is something else. So this attorney sucks. Terrance Dixon's attorney sucks. Donkey D. It sucks. All right, y'all. So here's an order from Fat Joe's defamation lawsuit. You can see he's the petitioner. This is in the U.S. District Court of Southern District of New York. This is the case number 25-CV-03552. and JLR in parentheses against Terrance Dixon, Tyrone Blackburn, and T.A. Blackburn Law PLLC. So the judge stated that, of course, Fat Joe brings this action against Terrance Dixon and the other defendant's name, invoking the court's subject matter jurisdiction on the ground of diversity of citizenship. Then you have, federal statute cited 28 USC, statute 1332, and then docket 9 complaint. I guess that's being noted as an exhibit. Plaintiff alleges that he is a citizen of Florida. He alleges that defendant T.A. Blackburn is a citizen of New York because it is organized under the laws of the state of New York, operates its principal place of business, so that's why it's in New York. It is well established that a LLC is deemed to be a citizen of each state of which its members are citizens. And then they cite case law here. If you ever need interpretation of law, make sure you pull up case law that has been established as precedent, because more than likely those types of rulings are going to be used in other cases with similar allegations or charges. So every case is not precedent. It has to be deemed to be precedent if you're going to cite any case in general to substantiate your claim. It has to be established as precedence. If you just, let's say you cite something and it's not precedence, but you're doing it just to kind of add some more context, but not necessarily asking the judge to consider that case as a part of his ruling based on how the judge in these case law has ruled in other matters. There's a difference in that. So, and above all, judges have discretion. Let's see. This is a complaint premised upon diversity of citizenship must allege the citizenship of natural persons who are members of an LLC and the place of incorporation, principal place of business. Okay. So it is hereby ordered that on or before May 7, May 7, 25, plaintiff shall amend his complaint to allege the citizenship of each constituent person or entity comprising defendant T.A. Blackburn Law PLLC if by that date the plaintiff is unable to amend the complaint to truthfully allege complete diversity of citizenship. Then the complaint will be dismissed for lack of subject matter jurisdiction without further notice to either party. There you go. Because they don't have to get notice. This order is something else. So this kind of sets the tone as far as how this is going on both sides. With Fat Joe's lawsuit against Terrance Dixon and Terrance Dixon lawsuit against Fat Joe. Terrance Dixon, if he stands a chance on winning, he better get another attorney, because this one has already been admonished by 2 different judges and they're not playing that nonsense. So let's get to Fat Joe's lawsuit. Yay. So here's a trigger warning. This is case number 25-CV-05144-JLR. Oh God, 157 pages. Oh, sweet Jesus. Jury trial demanded, of course. Terrance Dixon v. They got Fat Joe, Pistol Pete, Rich Player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. More defendants. 7, actually. John Doe's 1 through 10, Jane Doe's 1 through 10, and ABC Corporations. Did anyone tell me, is Rock Nation still owned by Jay-Z? Is he still owned by Jay-Z? Y'all let me know. How you doing, Saint? You say you medicated? Oh, you feeling all right? You probably feel good right now that medicine kicking in. This is a great distraction. Yeah, it is. I don't see. I'm trying to make these judges tired of these guys. They are. Judges ain't gonna let you just make a complete mockery of their courtroom. And I mean, the good ones definitely aren't going to allow you to make a mockery of the law itself. So if you want to file a lawsuit, make sure that it's airtight and solid, especially if it's a federal lawsuit. Because otherwise, court is not going to go the way you think it should go. It's not a YouTube channel. So they want to get down to the facts, law, and evidence in the matter. They don't have time for the shenanigans. They just don't. And I'm glad these judges calling these attorneys out that suck. Hey, Enrique, how you doing? You good? Yeah, I'm just getting some more comments in before we get started. And yes, this will be multiple parts. I feel like we've gotten stuck in a constant cycle of federal mayhem and lawsuits about criminal activity. You know, the crazy part is this stuff goes on so long that when it hits, it's like a ripple effect. You know, you're going back to Jeffrey Epstein and, you know, Cosby and what's his name? Andrew Weinstein. Now you got P. Diddy. Now you got Tyler Perry. Now you got Fat Joe. Like, I'm not saying they're guilty. The ones that have not been convicted, I'm not saying they're innocent or guilty. I'm just saying that it starts a ripple effect. Once you see someone file a lawsuit, either it's settled or they actually win against a mogul like P. Diddy, for instance. He decided to settle Cassie's lawsuit. He could have taken that to trial, but he chose not to. And I do believe part of the reason is because of what's happening now. You have discovery and evidence being released to the public. And I'm sure, just like that hotel video footage of him, you know, abusing her, he didn't want that stuff to get out. He knew it would be embarrassing. And no one cares. So they got away with this stuff for so long. It's like a outpour when it finally starts to kind of come to the light. You know, hashtag Cat Williams was right. All truth will be revealed. Oh, man. Did I miss the juicy stuff? Just kind of the information I went over with the docket activity, an article on Fat Joe's defamation lawsuit and an order, administered to Fat Joe to establish, basically to help establish subject matter jurisdiction. All right, we're just getting started. Let's go. Trigger warning. Yep, it's lengthy. We're not going to read it all tonight, y'all. Hit the like button on your way in. Y'all, these documents were not easy to come by. Had to get it off Pacer. So here's the trigger warning. You guys can see, the document contains highly graphic info. And then it cites the reasons why. And then plaintiff Terrance Dixon, aka TA. I'm just going to refer to him as TA and Fat Joe because I don't want to keep butchering the names. Buying through his undersigned counsel, T.A. Blackburn Law, who's been admonished twice by two different judges, brings his civil action against defendants Fat Joe, professionally known as Fat Joe, Pistol Pete, Rich Player, all the defendants listed above, asserting civil claims for violations of the Trafficking Victims Protection Act, TVPA, 18 U.S.C. Statute 1589, 1591, and 1595. The Racketeering Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, which is basically RICO, 18 U.S.C. Statute 1962, sub C and D, and related violations under New York and Florida law, including unjust enrichment, quantum merit, I hope I'm saying that right, or should that be merit? Fraudulent concealment, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and money laundering. This action arises from a deliberate and sustained campaign of exploitation wherein internationally recognized entertainer manipulates and abuses a creative partner through an organized network of enforcers, associates, and shell companies. Defendants systematically engaged in coerced labor exploitation, financial fraud, sexual manipulation, violent intimidation, and psychological coercion against Dixon, all intended to enrich Fat Joe and his associates while deliberately suppressing, silencing, and erasing plaintiff's substantial creative, artistic, and commercial contributions, which were foundational to Fat Joe's professional success and personal brand. Oh, Lord. Counselor, could we not get some sort of period in the midst of all this? Because that could have been like two statements broken up. I told y'all, make sure you don't have overly wordy or verbose complaints. Judges don't like reading all this crap. They just don't, especially if you start to repeat yourself. So here's the preliminary statement, y'all. This action arises from calculated, sustained, multi-layered exploitation of a creative partner. Okay, you just read that. See, this is the repetitive stuff that I'm talking about here. All right, paragraph number 2. For more than 16 years, TA dedicated his talent, labor, and loyalty to Fat Joe, professionally known as Fat Joe during that period. Plaintiff acted not only as Fat Joe's hype man, but also contributed as a lyricist, background vocalist, security team member, and creative collaborator. Could he not hire someone to be security team? Like, if you got higher security, it's great, but is it supposed to be your hype man? Why would you want your hype man to be a member of your security? Oh God, come on, Fat Joseph, do better. Despite plaintiff's integral contributions, Fat Joe systematically excluded him from fair compensation, proper attribution, and the substantial royalties and profits generated from his creative labor. Instead, plaintiff was consistently underpaid, denied songwriting credits, and deliberately concealed from royalties and back-end compensation. Is Fat Joe that broke? I mean, if this hype man can prove that he was owed the money, and that's what this really comes down to, why not just pay him the money? I'm not taking a side, I'm just asking a question. Why not pay him the money to avoid all this nonsense? He got a lawsuit now, Fat Joe filed one against him. Just pay him the money if that's what it really is. All right. Dixon contributed lyrics, vocals, and creative direction to numerous commercially successful songs performed and monetized by Fat Joe, including but not limited to the hits Congratulations, Ice Cream, and Money Over Beats. Dixon's creative fingerprints, distinctive voice, and stage presence are embedded in multiple critically acclaimed and commercially lucrative albums for which Fat Joe continues to profit without recognition or fair compensation to plaintiff. Fat Joe exploitation extended beyond financial fraud. He employed his industry influence and power dynamics to subject plaintiff to psychological coercion and economic control, forcing plaintiff into humiliating situations, including as acts performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if plaintiff refused compliance. Are you serious? Oh, Lord. I'm curious to know how that can be proven. Unless it's recorded or there's at least one other witness that heard him say this. You threatened to leave someone in a foreign country? Like they can't catch a plane and come back on their own. This is what I'm understanding from this. So you threatened to leave them in a foreign country, but not think, well, they could conjure up the money to catch a flight to come back on their own accord. I mean, it's a jacked up thing to do, but good Lord. Oh, God. Fat Joe deliberately withheld travel accommodations, misappropriated per diem payments, and exploited plaintiffs' financial dependence and professional loyalty to ensure submission, silence, and domination. I mean, it's all about money and power with these people. Assisting Fat Joe in maintaining his criminal enterprise were key associates and enforcers, including defendant Pistol Pete, Richard, and Rich Player. I can't keep saying their names because I'm going to butcher it. So, Torres, being Pistol Pete, and Rich Player actively engaged in physical threats, violent assaults, and intimidation tactics on Fat Joe's explicit instructions, sustaining a climate of fear and coercion against plaintiffs and others who challenged enterprise control. Defendant Erica Juliana Morera further facilitated Fat Joe's fraudulent schemes through unauthorized legal representation, fraudulent corporate filings, and the creation of deceptive corporate structures that enabled the concealment and diversion of proceeds owed to plaintiff and the laundering of illicit funds. That's a mouthful. So that, I guess this alludes to the money laundering. Man, this is something else. Who child? What's the name of them shell companies, Fat Joseph? All right, corporate defendant Slake Inc. and Sneaker Addict Touring LLC served as an instrumental vehicle for enterprise sophisticated financial fraud and money laundering schemes. Um, that basically just says that, these companies kind of were shell companies. They did nothing more than allow Fat Joe to be able to just move money around. All right, Slate Inc. operated as the central financial conduit, systematically concealing illicit proceeds. At the same time, Sneaker Addict Touring LLC fraudulently secured federal Paycheck Protection Program (PPP) loans by falsifying business activities and diverting federal funds into the enterprise. Why were these things made known to like the FBI or the prosecutor so they could have brought forth criminal charges? There is a lawsuit back in 2023 that I might go over at the end of this saga, but this would, why wasn't this not criminally pursued? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something here. Some of the victims are underage. Is that? Yeah, it's crazy. They're alleging that they are underage minors here. What creative collaboration did he contribute? Oh, no. Being a hype man is hard work. Oh my God. If he also fulfilled all the other roles that the lawsuit mentions, between the security team and helping to kind of write songs or whatever beats or something to that extent. Like, okay, background vocalist, lyricist, security team member, and creative collaborator. Because hype man. Good grief. All right. Fat Joe in maintaining his criminal enterprise with key associates. Okay, I already saw that. Blah blah blah. I'm just sorry. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on 1 second for me. I'm sorry, y'all. My son's phone was ringing. Okay. Ooh, child. Let's get back to it. Okay, so aside from the fraudulent corporate filings, creation of deceptive corporate structures, that would be something of interest to the IRS as well. Corporate defendant Slade served as an instrument. Oh, here it is. PPP loans. Why is everybody getting caught up with this? Did they learn nothing? Where you're seeing people go to prison for a very long time on PPP loan fraud. Seriously? Defendant Rock Nation LLC, the current management and representative entity for defendant Fat Joe, knowingly participated in concealing, transferring, and manipulating plaintiffs' authorship rights and royalty interests. Rock Nation deliberately facilitated Fat Joe's unlawful conduct by filing a meritless lawsuit against plaintiff and his counsel to intimidate, harass, and obstruct plaintiff's legitimate claims against Fat Joe and his co-defendants. That was the article that I read. That's the defamation lawsuit they're referring to. Rock Nation, through its CEO, Desiree Perez, extracted 10% of all revenue generated by Fat Joe and his associated businesses, including through joint management of business records, oversight of touring revenue, and enforcement of policies plaintiff was required to follow during his work with defendants. As an aside, according to accountant Doe and former manager Doe, so you have the Jane John Does here, defendant Fat Joe stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from Rock Nation and their CEO Desiree Perez when he accepted cash payments up to $500,000 for performances he secured independent of Rock Nation. Wow. Upon info and belief, Fat Joe actions went against his agreement with Ms. Perez. But she's not a co-petitioner in this. Okay. So Fat Joe, along with the other defendants listed here, all of them, created and sustained a deliberately exploitative arrangement in which plaintiff was systematically denied proper compensation authorship recognition, and lawful recourse. Over more than 16 years, defendants collectively enriched themselves through the oh, God, I'm tongue-tied. Uncompensated labor, creativity, and professional contributions, generating substantial royalties, performance fees, and brand equity from which plaintiff received virtually no benefit. Additionally, defendants engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes. See, there you go. That would be of interest to the IRS by submitting intentionally inflated and fraudulent income reports to the IRS, significantly overstating the actual compensation plaintiff received. I mean, because, he can just prove with any bank statements, copies of checks, cash apps, Zelles, however means he received money, he can prove that he only received X amount of dollars. And hopefully there's a contract that outlines how much he was actually supposed to receive based on an agreement. I haven't came across that yet here. Whether they had a actual contract agreement where they both signed and agreed to the terms of that. Hopefully Fat Joe is not that dumb not to have a damn contract agreement established with his hype man. This deliberate misrepresentation of plaintiff's income was designed to conceal defendant's extensive wage theft, which is, if true, illegal definitely. Artificially inflate plaintiff's tax liabilities, expose him to unwanted tax audits and penalties, and systematically obscure the financial realities underlying plaintiff's exploited labor. Yeah, I would be kind of pissed if you keep sending the IRS after me, lying about how much taxes I'm paying. Like, that's so weird. Fat Joe, criminal and fraudulent conduct is not speculative. It has been corroborated by first-hand witnesses, recorded phone calls, and documented evidence in the possession of accountant Doe, who personally handled the financial affairs of Fat Joe and confirmed that plaintiff was intentionally excluded from formal payment systems. W-2s were falsely inflated and reported to the IRS to create a fictitious paper trail. Fat Joe personally collected $600,000 and $200,000 in cash at different times from the Up NYC retail stores. Rock Nation received 10% of all revenue from Fat Joe's businesses, and numerous financial records were fabricated or withheld to avoid paying plaintiff the royalties and compensation he was owed. So I'm hoping that there's a contract agreement. Further confirming the illicit nature of Fat Joe's operation, employees at UPNYC, a small sneaker and apparel store, routinely flaunted luxury goods, including G-Wagons, Range Rovers, Rolexes, and designer clothing, despite earning little more than New York's minimum wage. Wow. This conspicuous consumption, combined with large volumes of cash-only transactions and the complete absence of legitimate revenue documentation, reflects the store's role as a laundering front for the Fat Joe enterprise. Oh my God. Yeah, if I can get my hand on $600,000, I would be very, very happy. God, please let that happen. Fat Joe earns an estimated $60,000 per month in royalties and at least $20,000 monthly in streaming revenue, none of which has ever been shared with plaintiff, despite his significant authorship and performance contributions to the monetized songs. In one documented instance, Fat Joe pocketed a $30,000 Live Nation performance check for the All the Way Up tour, money that was rightfully allocated for plaintiff's contributions. Fat Joe used those funds to pay off his back taxes owed to the IRS. Oh my God. So he's definitely like, he would just be flat out lying if you went to court and said, "Your Honor, I've never had any issues with my taxes. I didn't report this wrong," because somehow you end up owing taxes to the IRS. Oh, Fat Joseph. Oh God, as confirmed by a witness who was part of his management team at the time. You don't even need the witness. All you need is the tax documents. Because, the IRS is not for play. Plaintiff was not only exploited financially, but also subjected to a wide spectrum of sex coercion, psychological control, force, expeditionism, expeditionism, surveillance-based humiliation. Wait, he was being followed, or was he bugged? Surveillance-based humiliation, including being controlled to perform S acts under observation, being filmed, or directed by Fat Joe in the presence of others. Tactics designed to control plaintiff's body, erode his autonomy, and ensure silence. Are you serious? This is the same stuff with P. Diddy. Funny how some of these allegations kind of just transfer across the board to all these different artists. Oh my goodness gracious. Hold on, let me pause and get some comments. And y'all, this is something else. Man, we went from the judge admonishing this Blackburn attorney to basically Fat Joseph deciding, okay, I will tell the truth that I owe taxes. Because, I mean, you can't lie about that. It's just too much evidence. Oh, God. I'm going to be honest, y'all. I'm not, like, one way or the other with Fat Joe. I'm indifferent to him. I barely listen to his music. I think the ones that really were played to death on the radio is all I'm familiar with. So I'm not familiar with his catalog. But this is something else. Why are you not paying your taxes? With the money you bring it in, just pay the damn taxes. This is something else. Oh, Pistol Pete, wasn't he in Toy Story? I know, right? Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. And maybe the fourth one. A whole new generation. Oh, man. I wonder where all that PPP money went. Feel free to skip. Oh, my God. First time I didn't get my money, there wouldn't be a second time to play with my money. Exactly. I don't understand this. That's why I was like, why didn't this go to maybe a prosecutor or straight to the IRS? I mean, well, the IRS knew he owed taxes. He paid it, but man, the audacity to file fraudulent documents to the IRS. Same thing that Keith Freeman and Lacey Pillowtop ass was doing. How you gonna lie to the IRS like that on paper? Oh my God. All right, these S-based abuses. Hold on, let me make sure you guys can still see. These X-based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the culture of dominance and humiliation enforced by defendants' associates, such as Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, and Wisconsin. So you're talking about internationally. So if there were criminal charges to be pursued, it would definitely have to come through the FBI. But you're talking about not just in one state, but across state lines and in other countries. Good grief. In Miami, on Market America's corporate yacht and at its mansion properties, defendant orchestrated repeated orgies, the creation of fraudulent pay stubs, the use of W-2s while filing 1099s, and the concealment of payroll fraud for enterprise gain are textbook RICO predicate acts under mail/wire fraud and tax fraud statutes. The scheme furthers the enterprise's coercive structure and is directly tied to financial exploitation. Plaintiff, female dancers, and minors. Oh my God. All right, here's a trigger warning, people. Defendant used his status as a corporate sponsor, celebrity influence, and financial control to compel plaintiff and others into degrading S performances, often while defendant watched, recorded, or directed the encounters. And if it's proven true that there were minors, Fat Joseph is going to cell block 1. This is a perfect candidate for cell block 1 right now. if this be true. All right. These incidents occurred under conditions that included the presence of corporate security staff, surveillance cameras, and defendants' management entourage, yet no intervention occurred, supporting the interference that these acts were facilitated by and covered up by the broader enterprise and its affiliates. Oh my good Lord. Defendant also used social media burner accounts because, reasons, including BitG. Is this a word? Y'all, what is this? BitG and Dr. Zavag? Are these words from his songs or something? I mean, they sound very foreign. It's like Ewok speak. These words sound like they came straight from Mars. Like, it's who use words like this? Oh God, to issue veiled death threats and witness intimidation, such as "You love your family, right? Fall back in 48 hours. We let you live." Oh, these statements were interpreted by plaintiff and his legal team as a part of a broader scheme to intimidate, silence, and obstruct plaintiff's participation in this case. These acts constitute violations of 18 U.S.C. Statute 1512, witness tampering, and 18 U.S.C. Statute 875 sub D, interstate threats. See that? There you go. Cross state lines. There it is. Automatically federal. And falls squarely within the pattern of violent racketeering activity under the Civil RICO statute. In retaliation for asserting his rights, Roc Nation and Fat Joe jointly filed a baseless lawsuit against plaintiff and his counsel. The complaint, riddled with procedural defects and legal inaccuracies, was filed for the sole purpose of intimidating plaintiff, diverting judicial resources, and chilling his First Amendment right to seek redress. So we looked at the order, right? That was sent from the judge to Fat Joe in Fat Joe's lawsuit. And basically, at the end of the day, she ordered him to truthfully allege complete diversity of citizenship. And if you don't do that, the complaint will be dismissed for lack of subject matter jurisdiction without further notice to either party. So, to an extent, that is true. The judge had to basically say, listen, you're going to have to file an amended complaint just to tackle the basics on this. Because otherwise, I'm about to just, dismiss this whole thing, and all y'all can go sit down somewhere and go to your room. Go to your room. So the retaliatory lawsuit was intended not to prevail on legal merit, but to create public confusion, burden plaintiff's counsel with discovery costs, and dissuade other victims and whistleblowers from coming forward with evidence of defendant's enterprise activity. This conduct violates 42 U.S.C. Statute 1985, Sub 2, conspiracy to obstruct justice, New York Judiciary Law, Statute 487, deceit or collusion by an attorney, and federal witness retaliation statutes under 18 U.S.C. Statute 1512b3. As a part of coordinated cover-up, defendants submitted ghost contracts, backdated split sheets to performing rights organizations, PROs. Now, this is a new concept for me. Backdated split sheets to performing rights. See, you learn something new every day. This concept I've never even came across or heard of. I'll have to Google that later. Including BMI and ASCAP, omitting plaintiff's authorship credits. These records were created after the commercial release of the music and falsely assigned 100% publishing rights to the defendant. His business entities, fraudulent documents were designed to mislead royalty agencies, divert back-end payments, and erase plaintiff from the creative history of the works, even though plaintiff's vocals and lyrical contributions were readily identifiable on the tracks. So basically, if your hype man has a distinguished voice, he did backup vocals, he helped to write certain lyrics, and there's proof that he maybe had a copyright put on the songs, Fat Joe's going to be kind of screwed on it. And then, of course, if you know he's doing this and y'all agreed to this with a contract, pay him. This is insane. These actions not only deprive plaintiff of at least $600,000 in projected royalties, but also ensured his exclusion from future licensing, catalog valuation, and digital revenue derived from streaming platforms. So this is crucial here because these royalty payments could be for the rest of his natural born life. If it's enough there, and he decides, okay, I'm going to retire. Let's say he gets $600,000 a year from royalties and all these other endeavors here. Yeah. I mean, it would definitely hurt him financially. Part of these civil procedures is proving damages. So this is insane. that fraudulent backdating and ghost contracts constitute predicate acts under 18 U.S.C. Statute 1343, wire fraud, 18 U.S.C. Statute 371, conspiracy, and New York Penal Law, Statute 175.10, falsifying business records. Enterprise financial arm further engaged in systemic laundering and tax evasion. They already have evidence that he had to pay Fat Joe had to pay taxes, as evidenced by repeated cash disbursements of over $200,000 and $600,000 at a time, withdrawn from up NYC with no documented ledger, reporting mechanism, or tax compliance. So the president failed to ensure that financially this was on the up and up. They took it exactly. They took advantage of everybody. Come on, Fat Joseph. You got to do better. I'm trying to make sure I didn't skip over anything. All right, Fat Joe's post-conviction tax conduct, including repeated failure to report foreign earnings, the use of nominee entities, and cash-based laundering through corporate fronts, reflects the sophistication and scope of the enterprise's concealment strategies. These acts of structured concealment, misappropriation, and intimidation represent a pattern of criminal conduct carried out through an ongoing association, in fact, enterprise, meeting all elements under 18 U.S.C. Statute 1962 sub C, and supporting both closed-ended and open-ended continuity under RICO. Good grief. Whew. All right. Y'all, so far, that was the preliminary statement. Oh, my good Lord. So, jurisdiction and venue. Obviously, this is being filed in the federal law court in New York, simply because of I think the Rock Nation is headquartered there. Some of these companies are headquartered in New York. But Fat Joe claims he lives in Florida. I mean, does he not have an actual residence in New York? Wouldn't they just use that? Okay. So I'm not going to read all of the jurisdiction and venue. You guys can check that out. But basically, the court and that judge has jurisdiction and personal jurisdiction over this matter. That's pretty much all that's saying. They just kind of outline how. Lots of laws, lots of stuff. Y'all got to figure out how to get documents like this watermarked. I'm gonna have to figure that out because I for some reason can't do it in Adobe. All right, let's get down to the parties. So, of course, Terrance Dixon is the plaintiff, resides in New York. He was the hype man, an onstage performer, songwriter, co-author, background vocalist, contributor in studio productions, tour security, and logistical liaison during domestic and international events. The defendants: Fat Joe is a high-profile rapper, recording artist, music executive, entrepreneur, and I'm going to scroll down. I know his address is in here, but because this document literally is not easy to obtain, I'm not going to show it. Conducts business. That my comment was erased. I hope I didn't get blocked. No, why would I block you? Can y'all hear me? Are y'all able to hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Y'all, when I'm reading the documents as well, I'm on a different tab, so I might not be able to see the comments right away. No? You can hear me? Hold on. First time I didn't get... Yeah, this is the last comment you left here that I'm seeing, Enrique. I don't know what's going on. Laura just said she's buffering, I think. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold y'all too long because I don't want these videos to be that long. I don't mind breaking it up if it means, keeping it kind of short, sweet, to the point, and then we can always just break it down in parts. Let me see. I'm gonna get to a good stopping point because we're already at an hour. I'll go to page 10, and then that'll be kind of All I do for this evening. Plus, I got to get up early to take my son to summer school. Yeah, so let's see. So Fat Joe, of course, conducts business throughout the U.S. and is a principal owner or affiliate of several entertainment touring entities. Fat Joe also released multiple albums under labels such as Atlantic Records, Terror Squad Entertainment, E1 Music, generating substantial revenue from streaming, publishing, licensing, touring, public appearance. Fat Joe held exclusive control over plaintiffs' professional opportunities and compensation during the relevant period and exercised that control to exploit plaintiffs' labor, suppress his authorship. It's a technical difficulty. You left another nice, not so nice comment. Oh no, I'm literally just flashing up what comes up. Okay, Laura's saying she's having technical difficulties as well. Anyone else having issues? Is my screen frozen or anything like that? That HR goes by so quickly. That hour. I'm sorry. That hour, you meant to say hour. That hour goes by so quickly. It does. Is anyone else having a hard time getting comments up? Because I'm telling y'all right now, I'm not I'll say specifically when certain comments should, be blocked, but that's only been what, 2 occasions? Otherwise, y'all know I don't block comments. I'm gonna just go on to page 10 since this is having some issues or whatnot. You guys having issues. We're on page 9. Okay, actually, I'm gonna just stop on page 9 because right here it starts off with songs and albums and projects and stuff like that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not familiar with his music. A few songs I've just heard on the radio, but that's it. Okay. Fat Joe held exclusive control of plaintiffs' professional opportunities, compensation, during the relevant period, exercised that control to exploit plaintiff's labor, suppress his authorship, and enrich himself at plaintiff's expense. And during this is going to be the last one here. During his time working with defendant, plaintiff co-authored or co-authored dozens of songs, including but not limited to "Congratulations," "Money Over Bees," "Ice Cream," "Cupcake," "Blackout." Why is he naming songs after food? And not healthy foods? Ice cream, cupcake, banana. No. Fried banana. Anything that sounds like it's going to induce a heartache or clog an artery. Okay. My screen is fine. So, okay. I just want to make sure you guys lean back. Yay! That's another one. I haven't been having any issues, but I was cleaning up for the last 30 minutes. That's what I mean. I don't want to make them too long because I do want people to be able to kind of, engage into the reading, if you will. Lean back. Oh yeah. Do the rocker well. That's a really good song. That was definitely a popular one. I remember that growing up. Cause his name is Fat Joe. I know, right? It's saying naming songs out the whole just junk food. He might as well went for the gusto and say ham hock and pig feet. I mean, you gonna sit here and name some songs after some food groups. Go all the way there. Ham hock, pig feet, fat back, donkey tail. Just keep going. All right, Cupcake, Blackout, Dirty Diana, Peace Star. Okay, music. Haha. How did we get here? No problems. I chopped up all the way up. Okay, I remember that. 300 Brolic. Is that right? 300 Brolic. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. The songs I don't know, I'm not going to look it up. It would be different if it was Eminem. Or, Coast Contra, or the Locks, or Nas. Oh man. I'm not gonna. I don't even know Brolic. What does that mean? Crack House. All I do is Red Cafe remix. Winding on Me. Coca Baby. And Get It for Life. Oh my God. All right, y'all. This is where we're going to stop right here. And we're going to pick up tomorrow at paragraph 54. I just found these songs just to be interesting. It's funny. I want to show this video clip. Oh man. This is from Night and Day Cartoon Network. Content I am thoroughly enjoying. This is definitely going to be in parts. I think YouTube is struggling. Yeah, it could be. It could be. A lean back. I see that comment, Enrique. See him put in lean back. I don't know what's going on, but that's why I'm gonna make it short and sweet. Y'all, 157 pages. We could literally just read this whole thing all week, in addition to other videos I'm going to be doing. But I wanted to check out this video just so y'all can get some laughter in before we conclude. This is Night and Day Cartoon Network, y'all. So, Fat Joe story time, Joe and Jada podcast parody. Let's give this a thumbs up. Make sure you guys check out Night and Day Podcast. I think Kundi already put the link to the YouTube channel in the chat. I appreciate you all for tuning in with me, and I'm just gonna pretty much end it on this funny looking video. I haven't seen it yet, so this is gonna be a treat. Since I enjoy doing, reactions and stuff. Can't do music, but definitely will do Night and Day Cartoon Network. All right. Y'all make sure you put a 1 in the chat if you can see and hear. Let's get to it.
So we out in the club, right? It was me, Lord John, Bone Crusher, and some other kid we met that night through my man Caesar. So we at this club in the manor, right? And we trying to get in. And I'm like, why would they have us wait to get in? I'm Fat Joe, and I'm here with Lord John, Bone Crusher. And this is just not any Lord Johnny Bone Crusher. This was Get Low, and I ain't never scared Lord Johnny Bone Crusher.
I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared.
You can literally hear them playing songs in the club in the back.
I ain't never scared. I ain't never scared.
You can literally hear them playing their songs in the club in the background. And this Belcher, I swear, he was like 8 feet tall, Russian looking dude. More muscles than Debo on Friday. He looks at me dead in my eyes. It says, I don't care who you are. You have to look at me dead in my eyes. It says, I don't care who you are. You have to wait like everybody else to get in here. So Bone Crusher started cussing the guy out. And I'm like, yo, Bone, you gonna get us thrown out of the spot before we even get in there. Just chill out. Next thing I know, the bouncer gets on his walkie. And he says, we have a problem. Next thing you know, 60 guys come running out the club with bats, gloves.
Wait. Walkie? Was he trying to say Walker? Or like a cane walkie? Yo, Fat Joseph. Oh, Fat Joseph.
Bats, clubs, ponds, crowbars, chainsaws, knives, chains, hockey sticks, wiffle bats, garden hose, and garden shears. And they all had some type of mask on, like a hockey mask. I'm like, whoa, we don't have any problems. And the bouncer said, too late, you already effed up. So the gang of masked men started walking towards us. Lord John screaming, yeah. Pressure was sweating bullets. I'm sweating bullets. Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the heck is going on. Next thing you know, a van pulls up out of nowhere. You guys ain't even gonna believe this. But guess who was in the van?
Who was in the van?
It was the Ninja Turtles. Yup, the Ninja Turtles actually popped out. All of them. Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael. And they started kicking ass all over the place.
I'm sorry. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would like for you to leave their name out of your mouth, Fat Joseph. Lord. Why am I lost in this story? See, I told you I don't listen to a lot of his music, keep up with him like that, so I have no idea what he's talking about. I get this is a parody. Some of it may be made up, but I don't even understand the central point. I'm digging this jacket and pants set though. That's pretty fly. I like that. That brown and beige. That's so nice. Now I want one. Damn it.
Ninja Turtles actually popped out. All of them. Michelangelo, Donatello, Leonardo, Raphael. And they started kicking ass all over the place.
The Ninja Turtles.
Throwing guys over here, throwing guys over there, guys flying everywhere. And the one with the nunchucks.
The one with the nunchucks. Who? Michelangelo?
Yeah, Michelangelo. He was like thighs over here, and we all jumped in the van. Next thing you know, we in a turtle's hideout in a sewer, ordering 10 large pizzas. So we sitting there eating our pizza, right? You know, I like my pop.
Let's not pretend like he could not eat a whole pizza by his damn self. Y'all know what? I will give Fat Joseph props. He has lost a considerable amount of weight. But, you know, keep on going. You're almost there. Oh, man. And yes, I am talking my ish tonight.
Pineapple and meatball.
Pineapples and meatballs? What type of nasty shit is that?
And then I realized, yo, we left my man Caesar's homeboy back at the club. Next thing I know, one of the turtles came in, basically holding the dude up. Mind you, he was all bruised up, 4 broken ribs, ripped shirt, broken nose. His eyes was all bulging out. Like, hey, man, why did y'all leave me? From to find out, he was the one that they were really after. The nightclub was owned by the Albanian mafia. And the dude my man Caesar connected us with, he owed them some money.
He owed him some bread, huh?
That's so unbelievable. Look at him laughing. Y'all, the night and day had to write in this video at the end. Make sure they are laughing at the shit. Yeah, today's Mutant Ninja Turtles popped out. Oh my god! Sometimes you gotta pop out and show turtles. Oh my god, they sitting here laughing themselves. Oh, good grief. Good job, Night and Day Cartoon Network. Y'all are awesome. Hold on. Y'all look at that. Oh, Fat Joseph. Oh my god. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed that. That was hella funny. Because Ozempic. Oh my good lord. Oh man, that was funny. That was funny. All right. I hope y'all had a good time, man. We're definitely gonna pick this up tomorrow. I'm not even gonna close out the daggone lawsuit. I'm gonna leave that up. And you guys make sure if you a replay, check out the beginning information. It's gonna help you make sense of the allegations that are being brought forth by the attorney Blackburn for the plaintiff, where he's talking about, you know, they're filing frivolous lawsuits of defamation and yada, 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 when we have proof that he had to pay back taxes. So, you know, he was definitely doing something shady with the taxes. Laura said, can we have this cartoon Joe read the lawsuit, please? You want me to say sometimes you gotta pop out and show a turtle? Oh my God. All right. Oh, we've gone long enough. This is an hour and 23 minutes. Thank you all so much. I'm going to do a separate pre-recorded video. I'm going to start doing a summary on this cult leader named Eligio Bishop, something to that extent. But I think it's just an interesting saga. Shout out to Hood Horror Stories. That's the channel. They're literally, I mean, you know, yeah, Hood Horrors. That's the channel name. He is literally breaking down this entire cult from start to finish. There's 33 episodes. 33 episodes. And I am watching them all. So look out for that. You know, just kind of to kind of add a little flavor to the mix. And then, of course, I do want to give some updates on the situation with the corrupt judge here in Fulton County, who was facing 30 misconduct allegations from the JQC here in Georgia. So she's had some court hearings. And I'm going to give an update separately on that. So I appreciate all of you all tuning in. This has been fun. Probably our, bedtime stories we're going to have for the week. But either way, Thank you all so much. Hit the like button, subscribe, share the videos. Share the videos. I don't care who you all share them to. And consider becoming a member if you're not already. And I appreciate you all. And until the next video, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.